Arsenal today, the game started really interestingly because Arsenal they rotated. And I understand the initial knee-jerk reaction is probably going to be Arteta got it wrong. They weren't at their scintillating best, Arsenal. They had the ball. They created the chances. They were absolutely, fundamentally the better side in the first half. But there was a little bit of stoutness, a lack of a final ball or finishing touch. The team that started the game wasn't quite cutting it. I don't think Arteta has made a mistake, per se, because rotation is needed. I think one of the mistakes Arteta has made over the last few years is not utilizing his squad regularly enough. But what he also did is that once he saw that it wasn't working, he made those changes. But it's important to give those players game time. Then Arsenal went 1-0 down against the run of play, but a very, very good goal. There was calls for a foul in the build-up on Sterling. Not for me. That'd be very soft. And it was a wonderful taken goal by Archer. And you're sort of looking at yourself thinking, oh, we've seen Liverpool win today. City have gone a goal down, but we're leading 2-1 at this point. And Arsenal have gone 1-0 down at home to Southampton. How will they respond? What does the mentality look like? And it took Arsenal a matter of minutes to stand up, to be counted, and to get back into the game. And it was a wonderful piece of pressing. They capitalized on the mistake. Saka feeds the ball into Kai Havertz, who makes it 7 home games on the bounce that he has scored. And it was a wonderful finish on his left foot, posting him. Then they just ramp it up, Arsenal, creating even more pressure. They make a treble substitution and probably start the Trossards, Martinellis. They bring them on. They would have been expected to have started. There's a bit of a curveball there from Arteta. They come into the game and Arsenal go up another level. Now, we've seen some wonderful crosses in Premier League history, but the ball from Bukayo Saka to Martinelli to go 2-1 up is absolutely sublime. If he undercooks it, the player is going to be in the wrong position. If he overhits it, it's going out. It was perfect. Great first touch. First time shot, first touch from Martinelli, who buries it, and it's 2-1. And look, listen, after that, what was really interesting is that Southampton came back out. They hit the post after a mistake from Raya. So Arsenal got a little lucky there. They carried on persevering. And then Saka, I think, topped off another excellent performance, especially in that second half, by getting the third and killing the game off and putting it to bed. And there are certainly areas that Arsenal fans will be cynical of and critical of today, and I absolutely understand it. But I think it was important to rotate and give players an opportunity to fight for a place in the first team. I wouldn't say Raheem Sterling, as an example, did enough. I don't think Jorginho did enough to warrant maybe starting the next game, but rotation is key. And as a Man United fan, the reason I'm not going to sit here and say I think Arteta's made a mistake is because I've seen my club dominate this league. And I've seen hundreds of games, it probably wasn't hundreds, but loads of games where we'd be at home in the Premier League, 3 p.m. kickoff, and you're sort of sitting there going, why is Rooney on the bench? Why did he say Wes Brown today instead of Rio Ferdinand? All right, Scholes is on the bench and he started Fletcher. Why? And you might get to 60 minutes and you're 0-0 or it's 1-1 or you're losing. And then he brings on 2 or 3 of the stars that he's rotated. You go on to win the game. Nobody used to overanalyze that. It's part of rotation. So, but the big boys come on, they get the job done, they kill the game off, but it demonstrates Arsenal's mentality. It demonstrates their ability to win. And I think that's a really important component to have. This Arsenal team is built different. This Arsenal team is so far removed from the Arsenal teams that we saw from about 2008, 2009 onwards. There is an underbelly. There is a stomach being created to get them through adverse moments. And sometimes people will focus on adverse moments and say, well, those adverse moments happening is proof you're not a good team or proof you won't get over the line. This isn't true. Man City today are a case in point. They conceded an abundance of chances. They went 1-0 down. They had a late scare, but they got the job done. Look what they've achieved. Do you know how many times Man United had games exactly like Arsenal's today in the Fergie era? And forget City and Arsenal. If you look at Wenger's peak time, the amount of games that were like this for Arsenal, we forget, nostalgia creeps in, and you think, oh, we never sometimes struggled or huffed and puffed or had to make changes to win games. It's normal. But I think we live in the world where we overanalyze this. And of course, there are things that certain players could have done better. But overall, they got the job done today. They dominated the proceedings. They dominate, whether you're a stats person or an eye test merchant or both. In my case, they dominated the eye test. They dominated the stats. I mean, if you go now and look, right, at I know a lot of people love XG, right? I'm not a massive XG person, but let's go and look at the XG for this game as an example. This is from SofaScore, but it was 2.58 versus 0.6. Do you know what I mean? Even just, and I want to give it, like, Brentford scored 5 goals today. What was their XG? If it finished, their XG was 4.0. Who else scored a lot of goals today? City scored 3 goals today. What was their XG? I mean, City's XG today was actually 1.55. They actually scored some screamers. Fulham's was 2.4. So it doesn't make City a bad team, which means they didn't have their greatest performance. Fulham missed some chances, but actually Guardiola made some brilliant blocks, and the goalkeeper made a wonderful save. So people doing their jobs isn't a bad thing per se. Arsenal get the win, stay a point off the top, and I just think it's making an absolutely amazing title race. There's no doubt about it. People saying City are lucky. We're going to talk on that in a moment, because I don't think City were lucky per se. I don't think they were lucky per se, but we'll get onto that when we move on to that. In terms of individual players for Arsenal today, look, he got skinned once in the game, but outside of that, Calafiori just looks amazing. This guy is just phenomenal. His ability on his feet is out of this world. I thought Saka, as I've already mentioned, had a phenomenal game. An absolutely phenomenal game again. And the amount of, and again, I don't go and look for all these stats, but there are stats for them. What is it they call when you carry them? Carries into the box as an example, and his crossing was very good. His creativity was there. But you know what I love about Bukayo Saka? He's never say die attitude. Tries to take a man on, doesn't work, tries it again. Puts in a cross, slightly overhit. Boom, next time it will be better. Okay, I've undercooked this one. I'm going to keep trying. He doesn't allow the adversity to stop him from trying. And that is so key if you want to win things from an individual player. And I want to show Kai Havertz did well again today, scoring 7 in 7 at home. But I want to shout out Martinelli, because there were rightful calls a few weeks back for him to be dropped from this Arsenal team. I understood why Arsenal fans wanted him dropped. I understood why the media was hounding him. But he's starting to score goals, and he's starting to perform. When he came on, it wasn't just that he scored a good goal. He looked electric. He looked alive. And if Arsenal can get Martinelli back to the peak that he's been at prior, and maybe improving further, that's dangerous. Because last season, you weren't really, especially the latter half of the campaign, you weren't getting the goals and the assists and the output, the delivery, along with the performances. You weren't even getting the performances sometimes as well. But he's starting to turn that corner. Saka is a machine when it comes to numbers. And that's important. You know, whether it's from a corner, whether it's a cross like today, doesn't matter. He is going to deliver you GA. Havertz is starting to score more goals. If Martinelli can start to increase that output with performances, Arsenal will be in business until the very end of this campaign. There's no doubt about it. But overall, as I say, Arsenal with champions mentality today. This Arsenal team is built different to so many Arsenal teams that we've seen in the last 15 to 16 years. And what a title